Have you ever wondered why life seems silent when you need answers the most? You send out resumes, you pray, you wait, and still nothing. The world keeps moving. People around you seem to find their place, and you're left staring at your phone, waiting for a call that never comes. Deep down, you start to wonder if maybe you've been forgotten. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you missed your chance. But what if this silence isn't failure? What if it's the beginning of something divine that your eyes can't yet see? You see, the frustration you're feeling isn't a sign that you're lost. It's the evidence that something greater is being built within you. Most people mistake rejection for punishment, but sometimes rejection is simply God's redirection. It's His way of saying, there's more to you than this. There's a higher purpose waiting for you to rise into it. When every door closes, it's easy to think that you've reached the end of your path. But often, those closed doors are simply walls being built to protect the future God is preparing for you. Right now, you may feel invisible. You may feel like your efforts don't matter, that the world isn't paying attention. But I want you to realize something powerful. Silence doesn't mean absence. When God is silent, He's not ignoring you. He's positioning you. You are not standing still. You are being refined. You are being stripped of everything that no longer aligns with where you're going. You are being prepared for opportunities that require a version of you that doesn't exist yet. This waiting, this in-between, it's sacred. It's where your strength is built. It's where your patience grows. It's where your faith learns to stand on its own. You might not see progress right now, but beneath the surface, your roots are stretching deeper. Every unanswered email, every closed opportunity, every long night of doubt, they're all part of your preparation. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are in process, and process always comes before promise. So instead of asking, why isn't it happening? Start asking, what is this teaching me? Instead of chasing what's not meant for you, allow yourself to trust that what's meant for you cannot miss you. There's a greater plan at work. One that your effort alone could never create. The job you think you want might only be a fraction of the purpose God has for your life. Stay through this message because the story isn't over. The silence you're in today will become the testimony of how God turned waiting into winning. You'll see that every delay was divine direction. You'll discover that what you thought was the end was actually the start of a new chapter. Don't quit in the silence. Listen closely. This is where destiny begins to whisper. You've been taught to chase stability, to plan every detail, to hold control so tightly that losing it feels like failure. But what if control itself is the very thing blocking your blessing? What if every time you tried to take charge, you unknowingly pushed away what was meant to find you effortlessly? There's a quiet truth most people never realize. God can't move in a life that refuses to let go. The harder you try to force things into place, the more resistance you create. Control feels safe, but it's often the cage that keeps your destiny locked away. You were never meant to figure out every step. You were meant to trust the one who already has. That's why sometimes everything you plan crumbles. Not because you're unworthy, but because you were trying to write a story that was never yours to write. There's freedom in surrender. But most never taste it because surrender feels like weakness. Yet it's in that very moment of letting go that divine strength begins to rise. The world teaches you to grind harder, push stronger, plan tighter, but God whispers something opposite, release. When you stop grasping, your hands finally open to receive. Think about how much energy you spend trying to control outcomes that were never meant to belong to you. You plan, you worry, you overthink, and still nothing changes. That's because true peace doesn't come from control, it comes from trust. It comes from saying, I don't know how, but I know who. When you live that way, your heart stops racing to meet deadlines that were never divine. You stop chasing what's not yours and start attracting what's meant for your growth. The world's timing breaks you down, but God's timing builds you up. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what was never your burden. It means releasing the illusion that you can force what only faith can fulfill. You were not created to chase. This truth sink in. You have not been denied. You've been redirected towards something higher. Every lost job, every missed call, every unreturned message was a step away from limitation. When you stop chasing what's not meant for you, peace begins to replace pressure. You start to realize that God's way is never cruel. It's precise. He closes doors not to leave you outside, but to lead you toward the one that unlocks your destiny. That's not punishment, that's purpose. So lift your head. The doors that closed were never your loss, they were your liberation. Let go of the bitterness that builds when you don't understand the plan. Every disappointment is a divine interruption designed to redirect your energy toward alignment. Trust that every rejection removes something that would have weakened your purpose. You are not being shut out, you are being guided in. The door that opens next won't just fit you, it will reveal why every other door had to close. Keep walking with faith, not fear. What once looked like an ending is about to reveal itself as the greatest beginning of your life. Comparison is the silent thief of peace. You scroll through other people's lives, measuring your progress against the highlights, and suddenly your own journey feels small. You start believing that their success somehow means your delay is failure. But comparison is an illusion, a trap that disconnects you from the truth of your own path. You were never meant to move at their speed or reach their milestones. Your story is not behind. It's simply being written in a language only heaven understands. Every timeline that doesn't match yours is not a threat. It's proof that God is crafting something different through you. When you compare yourself, you shrink your worth to fit someone else's measurement. You stop celebrating your own growth because you're blinded by someone else's outcome. But what you don't see is their cost, their waiting, their private pain. Every destiny carries its own process, and no two paths unfold the same way. What looks like ease in someone else's life might be the result of years of struggle you never witnessed. The moment you stop competing, you free your mind to create, to evolve, to become. You can't bloom while staring at another garden. Your growth requires your full attention. Comparison feeds insecurity, and insecurity drains purpose. When your eyes are fixed on others, you lose sight of what's in your hands. You start chasing validation instead of vision. The more you compare, the more you forget who you are. But God didn't design you to be a copy. He created you to be a revelation of something new. You carry ideas, gifts, and callings no one else can fulfill. When you chase your own purpose, you stop needing to prove anything. You begin to find joy in progress, not perfection. Understand this deeply. Your pace is sacred. Some breakthroughs come early, others come through endurance. Some lives move fast because they're meant to fade quickly, but yours might be slower because it's being built to last. Don't confuse divine timing with delay. The longer it takes, the stronger the foundation God is setting beneath you. Every day you stay faithful in your lane. You become more aligned with the purpose you were created to live. You don't need to rush to catch up. You need to trust that what's meant for you can't miss you. Let others inspire you, but never let them define you. Celebrate their wins, but don't doubt your own. Your story is not a competition. It's a calling. The finish line you're running toward is not theirs, it's yours. Keep your focus forward, your heart humble, and your vision clear. The moment you release comparison, peace returns, confidence grows, purpose awakens, and suddenly your path, exactly as it is, begins to feel enough. Because it is. You are not behind. You are exactly where divine timing placed you to prepare you for everything that's next. You've been conditioned to believe that your worth is tied to your work, that who you are is defined by what you do, what you earn, and how others perceive your achievements. But identity built on titles is fragile because titles can be taken. The moment you lose a job, a role, or a label, the world makes you feel like you've lost yourself. Yet deep within, your soul knows this truth. You are more than a position, more than a paycheck, more than what society calls success. You existed before the job, and your purpose extends far beyond any occupation you've held. When life takes away what you thought defined you, it's not erasing your identity, it's revealing it. Sometimes God removes the false layers so you can rediscover your real self, the one not built on achievements but on authenticity. You are not what you do, you are who you become while doing it. The world may measure worth by productivity, but heaven measures worth by purpose. Even when you're unemployed, unseen, or uncertain, you still carry value that cannot be diminished. The pause in your career is not a reflection of your weakness. It's an invitation to remember who you are without the mask of performance. The greatest trap is believing you must constantly prove your value. That trap breeds anxiety, comparison, and burnout. But freedom begins when you stop chasing validation and start embracing identity. When you realize that your value is not earned but inherent. You were created with purpose long before any opportunity existed. Your identity is not on a business card, it's written in your being. Every skill, every dream, every desire within you was placed intentionally. You are not incomplete because you lack a title. You are complete because you were designed with divine precision. When you detach your self-worth from external outcomes, peace returns. You stop begging for approval because you understand that no human opinion can define what God already declared. The loss of a job can shake your routine, but it cannot shake your reason for being. You are not waiting for a company to choose you. You've already been chosen by purpose. That realization changes everything. It shifts your energy from desperation to direction, from fear to faith, from uncertainty to empowerment. So take a deep breath and release the pressure to perform. Your worth doesn't fluctuate with employment. Your identity doesn't dissolve with a job title. You are still becoming, still growing, still carrying something the world needs. Let this truth anchor you. You are not unemployed, you are under divine reconstruction. Something new is being built within you, and when it's ready, it will carry a strength that no position can give and no loss can take away. You are not what you've lost. You are what you've learned, what you've survived, and what you're becoming in the process of rediscovering your true self. There's a reason why your breakthroughs don't come in public. Growth happens in secret. Transformation begins where no one can see you. The unseen seasons of your life are not empty, they're sacred. They are the chapters where your strength, faith, and character are built in silence. When nothing seems to be happening, everything essential is happening. The roots of your destiny grow deep in the soil of solitude. It's in the hidden places that God refines you, stripping away what's temporary so He can reveal what's eternal. You are not being ignored. You are being developed for something that requires the weight of wisdom, not just the thrill of arrival. The world celebrates visibility, but God values preparation. The spotlight means nothing if the foundation is weak. That's why He takes time to strengthen what no one applauds. When you feel overlooked, remember this truth: diamonds are formed under pressure, not praise. What's unseen right now is the shaping of endurance, humility, and clarity that will sustain your purpose when the light finally shines on you. It's not delay, it's design. The season of silence is where your spiritual muscles grow strong enough to carry what's coming. Every disappointment you faced was a tool in your preparation. Every waiting moment trained your patience. Every not yet refined your discipline. You may not see the progress daily, but every unseen act of faith is adding weight to your purpose. Growth doesn't always feel like success. It often feels like struggle. But even struggle is sacred when you realize it's making you unshakable. The fire you're walking through isn't meant to destroy you. It's purifying the parts of you that can't go where you're destined to go. When you're hidden, it's easy to think you're forgotten, but you're being trusted with time. Time to evolve, time to align, time to become. The process is slow because it's building something that won't collapse under pressure. Don't despise your unseen season. It's proof that you're chosen for more. When God hides you, it's because He's protecting what He's preparing. You don't see a seed while it's growing underground, but when it breaks through, it carries the evidence of everything it endured in the dark. That's you right now, quietly becoming, silently forming, powerfully preparing. One day, what's been hidden will be revealed, and it will make sense why it took so long. You'll see that the hidden season wasn't punishment, it was positioning. It taught you resilience, faith, and humility. It taught you to build strength in silence so no storm could shake your foundation. You are not being delayed, you are being designed. The unseen work is your real preparation. And when it's time for your moment, you won't have to force it. You'll simply rise, ready. Because what's been formed in private is now strong enough to shine in public. You were not created just to survive. You were created to serve a purpose that outlives every paycheck, every position, and every temporary plan. The world tells you to chase income, but your soul craves impact. That's why no amount of money can fill the emptiness of living without meaning. You can achieve, succeed, and still feel hollow if what you're doing doesn't align with your purpose. Purpose is the pulse of your existence. It's the reason you wake up with energy and the force that carries you through uncertainty. When you live from purpose, every challenge becomes part of a mission instead of a burden you're trying to escape. You were designed for more than routine. You were created to make a difference, not just to make a living. That's why the job you lost or the door that closed didn't end your calling, it redirected it. Sometimes God removes the structure so you can rediscover your spirit. You can't hear purpose when you're buried in pressure. You can't follow divine direction when you're running on fear. When everything stops, that's when you finally hear what's been calling you all along. The silence becomes sacred because in that quiet, your purpose begins to whisper your name again. True prosperity isn't about what you have, it's about what you give. When you shift your focus from getting to giving, life opens up. You stop asking, what do I need? And start asking, who can I help? And in that moment, something changes. You no longer move out of desperation, but inspiration. That's when purpose takes the lead and provision starts to follow. What you give to the world returns multiplied. That's not luck, it's divine alignment. It's living from the place where your passion meets God's plan. Purpose doesn't always look glamorous, it doesn't always pay immediately, but it fulfills something that success alone never could. When you move in purpose, you stop comparing and start creating. You stop chasing validation and start walking in vision. Your path becomes clear not because it's easy, but because it finally feels right. Every time you choose meaning over money, alignment over approval, you step closer to the destiny you were born for. And once you taste that alignment, nothing artificial can satisfy you again. So stop searching for the next job and start searching within. The calling on your life is greater than any career. You were placed here to build, to heal, to speak, to create, to lift others higher. That is the plan that never expires, the work that never ends. When you live from that space, you become unstoppable. Not because everything goes your way, but because you finally understand why you're on the way. Purpose doesn't just change what you do, it transforms who you are. It gives meaning to your motion and turns every step into divine direction. Every time you doubt your path, remember that divine timing never rushes. What's meant for you isn't lost, it's simply waiting for you to become the version of yourself that can handle it. The delay is not denial, it's preparation. It's the sacred space where strength is built, character is refined, and vision becomes clear. You're not behind, you're being developed. Life doesn't test you to break you, it tests you to prove you. The moments that feel like pause are the ones shaping your endurance, deepening your trust, and teaching your soul to stand tall when everything around you trembles. The greatest breakthroughs often arrive disguised as silence. That's when the noise fades, and all that remains is the whisper of faith telling you to keep going. The waiting season is the womb of transformation. It's where your patience learns to breathe and your belief becomes unshakable. You may not see progress on the surface, but beneath it, everything is aligning. Roots grow in darkness before they rise in light. You are not stuck, you're being grounded. You are being anchored so deeply that when your time comes, no storm can uproot you again. Many give up right before the shift happens because they mistake stillness for stagnation. But when nothing seems to move, that's when the unseen is rearranging everything in your favor. The battle is not about what you see, it's about what you believe when nothing looks like it's working. Faith is built when sight fails. Resilience is born when comfort ends. Strength doesn't come from winning. It comes from not quitting when losing seems easier. Every delay you faced has been divine protection, keeping you from places your spirit wasn't ready to sustain. You don't need everything to change overnight. You only need the courage to keep believing today. The power that moves mountains isn't found in perfect plans. It's found in persistent faith. Every time you choose to trust again, even when logic tells you not to, you're expanding your capacity for miracles. Life rewards those who refuse to give up. Those who keep sowing in the unseen, knowing that what's buried isn't gone, it's growing. You can't rush a seed, you can only nurture it. And that's what you're doing every time you hold on to belief when the outcome seems impossible. When your heart is aligned with faith, nothing truly stands against you. The doors that close make space for the ones that won't. The disappointments that felt like punishment were really direction. You are not running out of time. Time is aligning with you. Keep your peace in the process, because every moment of waiting is shaping you into someone unstoppable. The blessing isn't at the end of the journey. It's in who you become through the endurance of it. The longer the preparation, the greater the purpose. And when your season arrives, it won't be by accident. It will be by divine design. There comes a moment when the noise of the world fades and all that's left is the quiet question inside you. Vasan, who am I becoming? That's the turning point. That's when you realize your life isn't defined by what has happened to you, but by what you decide to rise from. Every disappointment, every setback, every wound was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken you. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. Pain was never your identity. It was your invitation to transformation. The struggles that once made you doubt your worth are the very fires that forged your strength. You are not broken. You are being refined. The mind loves comfort, but the soul thrives in challenge. Growth doesn't bloom in ease. It emerges through resistance. The pressure you feel is not a sign that you're failing. It's proof that you're evolving. Diamonds are born in the depths, not on the surface. Your resilience is being polished through the friction of life. Every challenge you face is chiseling away the false layers, revealing the greatness that has always lived within you. You are not waiting for your power to appear. You are remembering that it was never lost. You've simply been walking through the process of rediscovering it. There's something extraordinary about the human spirit when it decides to no longer bow to fear. The moment you choose courage over comfort, the world begins to shift around you. Life bends to the will of those who refuse to surrender to weakness. Every breath you take in faith is a declaration that your story isn't finished yet. You have survived too much to doubt your strength now. You have endured too long to walk away when the breakthrough is so near. The world doesn't owe you recognition. You owe yourself persistence. Your progress may be silent, but silence is where revolutions begin. The universe responds to energy that refuses to back down. When you keep showing up, even when no one claps, you create a vibration that draws opportunities, healing, and abundance toward you. What you give consistently becomes what you attract. That's why discipline is more powerful than motivation. It doesn't depend on mood, it depends on choice. And every choice to keep going rewrites your destiny a little more. You're not fighting for a version of yourself that doesn't exist. You're fighting to step into the one that's been waiting for you all along. So breathe, stand taller, trust that your preparation has meaning, that your delay has purpose, that your pain has been the molding ground of something magnificent. You are not behind, you are being aligned. The strength you've built in silence will soon speak louder than every doubt that tried to stop you. And when it does, you will understand that the waiting, the breaking, and the rebuilding were never wasted. They were the sacred path to becoming unstoppable. There is a sacred power that awakens when you finally stop chasing what isn't meant for you. The exhaustion you felt wasn't from working hard. It was from forcing what was never aligned. The reason certain doors remained closed is because they were never yours to open. You were meant for something that requires a different version of you. One that cannot exist if you continue trying to fit into places too small for your spirit. The rejection you feared was never a loss, it was divine protection. Every unanswered call, every silence, every no was a redirection towards something greater than your logic could comprehend. You are being guided toward a destiny that doesn't require you to beg for belonging. It will recognize you the moment you arrive. The human heart was never designed to find peace in constant striving. When your worth is tied to titles, to jobs, to the approval of others, you build your life on sand. The moment the waves come, everything collapses. But when your identity is anchored in purpose, no storm can destroy it. That's why God often allows the shaking, so you can see what's unshakable within you. You are not being emptied to be left with nothing. You are being cleared so that something eternal can fill the space. The dream planted in you isn't fragile, it's divine. It doesn't depend on circumstances. It depends on your willingness to keep trusting, even when you can't see the full picture. You were not created to survive. You were created to serve through your calling. The gifts inside you are not random. They are the blueprint of your assignment. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs you. Our originality. Every experience you've endured was shaping your voice, your empathy, your clarity. You didn't go through pain for decoration. You went through it for preparation. The lessons that scarred you were not punishments, they were the birth of your wisdom. That wisdom is the bridge between your past and your purpose. When you start walking in it, everything that once felt wasted becomes sacred fuel for your mission. Faith doesn't always look powerful. Sometimes it looks like getting up one more time after being crushed. Sometimes it looks like choosing peace instead of panic. Sometimes it's simply refusing to let fear be the loudest voice in the room. The world glorifies speed, but divine timing moves in silence. You are not late. You are right on schedule for what's meant to unfold. The doors you thought were closed forever are only waiting for the version of you that's ready to walk through them. Don't curse the process that's maturing your character. Don't despise the delay that's protecting your destiny. Every season of stillness is a classroom for strength. Every unanswered prayer is an invitation to deeper trust. Keep your eyes lifted, because what's forming in the unseen will soon manifest in ways that leave you speechless. The moment you stop doubting your path is the moment life begins to move with you instead of against you. Faith is not about seeing the evidence, it's about believing there is purpose even when everything looks uncertain. Every delay, every detour, every closed door has been part of a larger orchestration. You were never abandoned, you were being aligned. The silence wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The waiting wasn't wasted, it was working something inside you that only time could strengthen. There are qualities you cannot develop in comfort, and clarity you cannot gain in noise. You are being built quietly away from the spotlight so that when your moment arrives, you'll carry the depth and wisdom needed to sustain it. Your purpose doesn't require the validation of others to be real. Too often people wait for permission to become who they already are. They wait for someone to see their potential before they dare to live it. But purpose doesn't wait, it calls. It whispers to you in the quiet hours of doubt, reminding you that you were made for more. The real battle is not outside you, it's within. The war between fear and faith, between comfort and calling, between who you were and who you are becoming. Every time you choose to rise above fear, you strengthen the foundation of your future. Every time you move forward without evidence, you teach the universe that you trust your divine timing. There is a rhythm to destiny that only faith can hear. When you start aligning your steps with that rhythm, everything changes. The struggle stops feeling like chaos and starts feeling like refinement. You begin to see how every disappointment was a detour to protection, how every rejection was clearing space for the right opportunity. You begin to understand that the very things that once broke your heart are now the reasons you carry compassion, resilience, and clarity. Pain does not define you. How you rise from it does. You are not your losses. You are the strength that survived them. And that strength will carry you into every new door that opens. The truth is, you are already equipped for what's coming. You don't need to chase what's meant for you. It will recognize you by your obedience, your perseverance, and your preparation. The universe honors movement. When you keep walking in faith, even with trembling hands, life responds. It rearranges circumstances, shifts people, and moves mountains just to align you with what's meant to be yours. That's the power of divine alignment. It doesn't rush, but it never fails. You were not created to live in confusion. You were created to walk in clarity, to know peace even in the unknown, and to trust that every unseen force is working in your favor. Stand firm. Your moment is already written, and no force on earth can delay what heaven has designed for you. There comes a shift when you finally understand that nothing in your life has been random. Every season has been shaping you for the one you're stepping into now. The pain you thought would break you was actually stretching your capacity to hold more. More faith, more strength, more wisdom. Every closed door was protection from what wasn't aligned with your calling. Every delay was a divine pause to prepare you for the magnitude of what's coming. You weren't being overlooked. You were being refined in the quiet, so that when the right opportunity arrives, you'll no longer question if you're ready. You'll know you were built for it. The world measures success by speed, but purpose moves by seasons. What takes others moments may take you years, but the roots you've built in that time will sustain you when the storms come. The world wants you to rush, to compare,